Okay, in the crazy multi-trillion-dollar race to build AI, we're seeing this totally disruptive new movement pop up. And it's not happening in the polished, careful labs of the big tech giants. No, this is happening in the trenches. It's being led by a new breed of engineer, the hacker engineer, who believes one thing above all else: speed is everything. And their whole philosophy can be summed up by one pretty intense mantra:
Die or build it yourself. I mean, wow. That quote from XAI's Suleiman Gori really tells you everything you need to know about this mindset. If you hit a wall, whether it's hardware, software, whatever, you don't wait for someone else to solve it for you. The choice is simple. You either become irrelevant or you build the solution from scratch, right now. So yeah, this is the story we're diving into. It's about these absolute pioneers who are moving so fast, they're just shredding normal product timelines. They're challenging the giants, and they're building a future based on this completely countercultural approach to AI. It's all about radical autonomy, what they call sovereign compute, and just a relentless, unstoppable drive to win. All right, so to really get this whole movement, you got to start with the OG, the guy who basically wrote the playbook for this whole thing, the archetype of the hacker engineer, George Hotz, or as you probably know him, Geo Hot. I mean, just look at this guy's career. It's like a highlight reel of taking on closed systems. At just 17 years old, he becomes the first person on Earth to unlock the original iPhone. Then he takes on Sony, hacking the PlayStation 3. And now he's all in on AI, first with self-driving cars at Comma.ai, and now with TinyCorp, where he's taking direct aim at the giants who control all the AI hardware. And this one story, it just says it all. You know what he got for that legendary iPhone hack? It wasn't some huge corporate payout. No, he traded it for a sports car and 3 more iPhones, so he could just keep hacking. It was never just about the technical puzzle for him. It was a statement against these walled gardens. It perfectly sums up his anti-establishment roots. Now look, Hotz is definitely a polarizing guy, let's be real. His super unfiltered, sometimes abrasive style has earned him some, let's just say, colorful descriptions online. But you have to separate that personality from the mission. And the mission is huge. He wants to commoditize the petaflop. In plain English, that means breaking the stranglehold that companies like NVIDIA have on AI and making that insane computing power accessible to literally everyone. Okay, so that's the individual hacker spirit. But what happens when you take that exact same philosophy and you plug it into a massive company like Elon Musk's XAI? Well, that's where engineers like Suleiman Gori come in, and they are scaling that ethos to an absolutely industrial level. Just look at this number, 122 days. Let that sink in. That's how long it took the team at XAI to build their massive Colossus supercomputer. A project like this should take years to pull off. This single number tells you everything about the culture they're building over there. It's not just fast, it's almost unbelievable. And a key engineer driving this insane speed is Suleiman Gori. You can see this clear line through his whole life. As a teenager, he literally builds a fidget spinner factory in his bedroom, figuring out logistics on the fly. Then he builds a working liquid fuel rocket in 4 weeks. And now he's just applying that exact same rapid, first principles thinking to building world-class supercomputers. You see the pattern here? And this quote from him, man, it just is the XAI culture. It's all about radical empowerment. Think about a typical company. You get an idea, you file a ticket, you have 3 meetings, you write a proposal. At XAI, an engineer with a good idea just builds it that same day. That's where all this mind-bending speed comes from. So how do they actually make it work? Well, first off, the default due date for everything is yesterday. The management structure is basically a pancake. It's just individual engineers, the co-founders, and Elon. Everyone codes, even sales. And there are no real team boundaries. If you see something broken anywhere in the company, you are empowered to just go fix it yourself. But look, all this speed, this crazy culture, it isn't just about moving fast for the sake of it. It all serves a much bigger idea, a core ideology with a very specific playbook: the quest for what they call sovereign compute. So what the heck is sovereign compute? Think of it like this. Right now, the world of AI is basically a kingdom where a few giant companies, especially NVIDIA, are the kings. They own all the best land, the high-end chips that power everything. Sovereign compute is the revolution. It's the mission to break up that kingdom, decentralize that power, and create an open world where anyone can access top-tier compute. So how do you fight a king? You need weapons. And one of the key weapons in this fight is TinyGrad, George Hotz's software framework. The whole idea is radical simplicity. Think of big frameworks like PyTorch as these bloated luxury SUVs with a million features you never use. TinyGrad is a stripped-down, custom-built race car. No radio, no AC, just pure speed, designed to get the absolute maximum performance out of cheaper, off-the-shelf hardware like AMD gaming cards.
And the way they're building all this stuff is totally different too. There's this new idea making the rounds called vibe coding. The engineer isn't sitting there tapping out every single line of code anymore. They're more like a movie director. They guide AI agents to generate the actual code, while they focus on the high-level architecture, on testing, and on pushing the overall vibe of the project forward.
Okay, so we've got the culture of speed and we've got the technical playbook. But what's the end game here? What are they trying to build with all this? Well, for XAI, it's something absolutely massive: a digital workforce. Just stop and think about your own day at work for a second. All the boring, repetitive stuff you do on your computer. Clicking, typing, copying from one window, pasting into another. Now, what if an AI agent could just watch you do that one time, learn, and then just take over and do it for you forever? Well, that's the grand vision behind a project with the, let's say, cheeky name of MacroHard. You can think of it as a digital Optimus. It's not a physical robot, it's a software robot that lives on a computer. And the goal is to create a workforce of 1 million of these AI agents, these human emulators, that can automate pretty much any digital task just by looking at the screen and using the keyboard and mouse exactly like a person does. And the plan for how to actually deploy this is, honestly, it's wild. Step 1, build the agents. Okay. Step 2, scale them up to 1 million. Right. But step 3, this is the masterstroke. They plan to run this massive digital workforce on a distributed network of idle Tesla cars. I mean, there are millions of powerful computers just sitting in people's driveways. XAI wants to basically rent that idle compute time, creating a global supercomputer without building a single new data center. So when you put all of this together, the insane culture, the sovereign tech, the sheer ambition of it all, what you get is a major showdown, a real conflict that is defining the entire AI industry. It's a race to decide what the future is going to look like, and more importantly, who gets to build it. And you can really see the two opposing worlds so clearly right here. On one side, you've got the old guard, the big institutions. Everything is about mitigating risk, building consensus, planning in silos. You know the drill. And on the other side, you've got the hacker engineer. It's all about high-speed iteration, vibe coding, and a preference for cheap, repurposed gamer hardware over expensive enterprise stuff. It's a fundamental clash of philosophies. And make no mistake, this isn't just some friendly competition about who has a better process. This is a battle for the soul of the industry. Is AI going to be governed by the slow, bureaucratic models of the past, or will it be driven by the decentralized, sovereign, and incredibly fast culture of this new vanguard? The answer is going to shape our world for decades. And that leaves us with the final big question. As these two forces collide, who's ultimately going to build our AI future? Is it going to be the established giants in their corporate boardrooms? Or is it going to be the hacker engineers shipping code from the trenches? The race is on, and it's going to be fascinating to watch.